Hey everybody, it's Lori Atwood from Fearless Finance, and happy Wednesday to you all. Today, we're going to talk about back to school. We were supposed to talk about this last week. My internet was doing funky things, and I'm sorry about that. But today, we're going to still talk about it because there's still some schools going back this week during Labor Day. So, back to school this year is a complete cluster. It's completely different than it has been all the other years. And wherever you're living, it's probably different than like the next town over. I know in my own daughter's school, it's all teleschooling. And so, hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Alyssa. It's all teleschooling. And what that means is, she's sitting in front of her computer all day long. They can see her, she can see them. So she needs to have certain like supplies and that sort of thing. But at the same time, she's like texting her friends, and it's just a completely different ball game. So the reason that I bring that up is that it's not just a pencil case and a lunchbox and the usual stuff this year. So right now, all of us, for the most part, I can't think of anyone that doesn't feel like this. All of us feel overwhelmed. This is what I say to everybody, that I'm saying to everybody in my practice as well, my clients. We're still in the fire, okay? We're still, hey, how are you? Um, we're still in the fire. We're not out of the fire and fixing things and rebuilding yet. We're still in it. We're in the thick of it. We don't know when everyone will be able to go back to work as usual, all the normal things, or school as normal. We don't know what's going to happen politically with, there are people protesting. There's all kinds of unrest. We don't know what's going to happen. We're still in the thick of it. As a result, people tend to throw money at things, to make it go away, to reduce stress, to try to reduce stress. Some of us also know that we comfort eat, or we comfort do this or that. It's the same thing with money. So don't use back to school as an excuse to do that. Get organized, and I'm going to tell you how. The way I do it is I like to understand my own humanity and my daughter's humanity, and the need to kind of blow off some steam, to do something extravagant, to have something different, to have something that looks kind of cool with your friends. I get all of that. The key is limiting that, not making it go away, because it's never going to go away. So when you're doing back to school, make a list of what the child needs. Maybe the school provides it for you, or the teachers provide it for you, or something like that. Make a list of what the child needs. Understand that the child's going to need some little extravagance, whether it's a new eraser or a new jacket, or some, depending where you are in your financial journey is going to dictate what the extravagance is for this child. Communicate with the child. Sure, I would love to be able to get you all these different things, but we can't do it this year. You can have this one extravagance, and here's the budget for it, right? Make a budget. Don't just say, okay, I'm going to get everything that's on the list that the school provides, because there's pencils and then there's pencils. So get the list from the school, figure out what your budget is for back to school. Take some of that little budget and sequester it, put it aside for something really fun, something extravagant for the kid. Like I said, it could be as small as a cute little eraser or pencil, and it could be much larger, obviously. So hit your budget and hit the things that are required by school, right? They work together. They are not mutually exclusive. So make sure that you have both going on. Get the kid involved, sit the child down. Maybe somebody in the family has lost a job. Maybe somebody in the family is working less. Any of those things could be happening now, and worse. Sit the child down, unless the child's under 5 years old, and say, look, here's your amount to get something fun for yourself, and let them do that. And they understand. It's amazing how quickly children understand limits and budgeting when you give them a little bit of freedom to do that. So I would say it's a great idea to do that. And it teaches them on their way to eventually getting an allowance and understanding how much they should be spending when they're at university. These are all the same lessons that go all the way through life. Don't get sucked in by convenience. I alluded to this a little bit before. Don't get sucked in by convenience. Do not Amazon everything. Amazon is, I don't know, my goodness, it's just a black hole, right? It's just, something that has so much gravitational pull, we don't even know what to do with it. Don't get sucked in. Make your list, do your inventory, see what you already have that you can reuse. Do an inventory of your technology. This is really critical when the kids are a little older, especially if the kids are teleschooling, like my kid. What do you have? Do you have charge cords? Do you have printers if you need them? Do you need some different technology? Do you have all the software downloaded? Do you have to pay for any of the software? Are there any memberships you need to do? Do all of this. Make a list. See what you need, what you can get by with, and then what you have to supplement and actually, unfortunately, have to pay for. But don't go into it just buying whatever is on the school list. Sometimes you have it from last year and you don't need to rebuy it. So be careful with all of that. Be especially careful with Amazon. Be especially careful with tech purchases. Let me see, what else? So if you have a kid starting college, right, I get this question all the time, they may be starting by computer, they may be moved into their dorm but not allowed to leave their dorm. They may be doing some sort of hybrid of all those things. Don't go crazy on the dorm room setup because we have no idea what's going to happen. They could be sent home at any given moment if things get worse. So try to be as frugal as you can on the dorm room setup. Again, the things to remember: make a list, agree on extravagance, have a budget. If you can do those three things, the chances that you go overboard are much lower. There's no difference in, your Christmas shopping. Those three rules hold. You're renovating a bathroom, the same three rules hold. You're going to the grocery store and the same three rules hold, right? If you want an extravagance, give yourself one extravagance. Take a budget, take a list. It's the same. It's just smart financial planning to do those things. So on college, this is kind of a bigger topic, but let me just allude to it right now. That's my 12-year-old just banging into my room here where I am. But that's adolescence, right? Okay, so college, again, if the child is starting college, make sure you have room for a little extravagance. Make sure you don't go overboard on the dorm room. Make sure you make a list and have a budget. Do the same thing for their discretionary spending while they're in college. It's hard now because they're doing this hybrid. Some of them are on campus, some of them are not on campus. In normal times, I always recommend that you agree with the student, whether it's a monthly amount that they have for discretionary spending or a bi-semester amount, and let them budget it. You'd be shocked at how quickly they get good at budgeting it. Don't have them come to you constantly for funding. It's bad for you, it's bad for your wallet, and it's bad for them because they never learn any responsibility. They're not making any decisions themselves. It's subjective, and you are making the decisions for them. That is my dog who's now whining here because my daughter shut the door. But there you go. Anyway, so that's the thing to remember about allowances and discretionary spending at college. And that would be the same if your kid goes away to overnight camp or they're going away on some trip for school. Sit down with them, figure out what they're expected to pay for, get their agreement, give them an amount, and let them do it. You'd be shocked at how good they get at that, how quickly they get good. Let me see. What is the next question? I'm just kind of looking through and scrolling through. Does anyone have any additional questions? let me hit this one thing about doing an inventory. So somebody asked, how do you do an inventory? Because I had mentioned this inventory thing before. I'm not Marie Kondo, man. That is not my gig. But um, when they give you the list for school supplies and back to school needs, that's the starting point. There are always other things that are involved, like, you know, there's pencils and pens and notebooks and stuff like that. But does your kid need any special software? Again, make sure the tech is working and up to par and usable for your child. Does your kid need any additional clothes if they've been running around in ripped t-shirts all summer because who's looking, right? And they're not going anywhere. Do they need a couple of things like that? You may even need to replace things like shoes, even though nobody's going out. So try and cast as wide of a net as you can. Think about where your child's going to be doing their work in your house. Does anything need to be done to prepare that area? Do they need extension cords? Do they need adapters? Our house is so old that it only has the two-prong plugs, and the computer always has the third grounding plug. So, that was something we needed. So take a look at the space, take a look at what your kids, where your kid is in their development and their life. Kids that are entering puberty are going to have different needs than little kids that are going to have different needs than older kids. So do a full inventory on everything and do it with your kid. I recommend that you share it with your child too. And that'll get you started, and other things may come up, and there'll be things that you won't agree on. Your child might be like, I need this. And you're just like, you don't need that. So that's a good time for you to come to the table and discuss that. Try to keep it at discussion level and not at argument level. It's hard, I know. But that's part of the inventory, and having the list and thinking about the budget and all of those things. They're very mechanical. So if you can keep it out of the emotions and into the mechanical, you may be better off. I know I am, certainly with my own child. Making a budget, it's hard, right? I mean, you can go the way that I go in my family, which is like, I like to buy better things that are on sale. Or you can just try to get things at lower cost places like the dollar store. But in general, you're going to be able to price things out and figure out. One thing is how much you need to actually get all the things on your list. And the second is how much your cash flow can stand right now. Do you have to buy it all before school starts? Can you buy some in a month or a couple of weeks? So think about those options too. I just got a question from Alyssa to give your college student for groceries. So that's a great question. So it depends, right? The answer to everything in finance. It depends. Does your child have meal plan or any kind of meal plan? Sometimes they only have 3 meals a day. Sometimes they have 3 meals a day. Sometimes they get 1 meal a day. Every college is different. That's all different. If they're living on their own off campus, then I would say $300 per month would be ample for groceries because, these are kids. They're going to be in normal times that are not COVID. They're going to be eating out with their friends a lot and skipping meals and eating, more or less or whatever, any of those things. If there's no meal plan, I would still go with my $300 per person per month guidance, right? Young males will eat more than young females at that age, at least in that teen period. So use it as a guidepost only. If they are, if they have half their meals on meal plan, I would half it. But remember that they're also going to have to buy things like Band-Aids and detergent for the laundry machines and, resealable bags and whatever else they need that's at the grocery store, but it's not technically, it's not edible. So you want to factor those things in too, although kids in a dorm won't need too much of that, but they'll need some still. So yeah, I think you start at the $300 per month level for somebody who's responsible for all of their food and work your way back from there. Thank you. That's a great question. Does anyone have any other questions? Otherwise, I think that's our time for today. Next week, Katie's going to be up. I'm not sure what her theme is, but when we send out our email on Monday, we'll know. And we're also going to be talking about small group planning, which we're really excited about. We're going to be offering to the public on September 14th. So look out for more of that. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys soon.